Hello, guys. Oh my goodness, let's see who's on. Hi, Diane. Lyrical Muse and Mixed Media Maven. You're so sweet. Let's. Oh, we got an echo because I did not turn my computer volume off. Who is here? Let's see. Hello, Nanette and Sandy and Donna and Pat and Mary and Lori and Sharon and Loretta. Thank you so much for sharing. Sharon and Linda, and over on the YouTube. Carol Colbert, good to see you. And Marianne and Sharon and Sue and Kay Merriman. Hello, Deb Daniger and Dolores. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I still have not figured out this crazy thing. So let me just see if I can get myself there. There we go. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Because the screen's going to go black. So just let it go black for a minute. I worked this afternoon trying to figure this out. Oh, I love that, Marlene. I so miss bowling. I loved it. I think I told you my highest game was 255. And that was one thing my dad and I did growing up was my dad and I were on father-daughter bowling league. And we did fine, but my mom and I did better. So, hello. Okay, so it is hair up day. And I just have to tell you, the funniest thing is I had a little time today to get ready, like to curl my hair. The last 2 days, 3 days, Sunday, maybe I did. Last 2 days, no, I was rushing to get ready. And I had a doctor's appointment today, and I just thought, you know what? I will put makeup on then, and then we're gonna go live. Hi, Lucy Mott. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Peg. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. I think I missed wishing you a wonderful birthday. Heidi ho, Chris Avola. Mine was only 250. Oh yes, I had 7 strikes the first 7 frames. It was unbelievable. And I've picked up a 710 before, and yeah, so I've got all the patches. But I started having major sciatic nerve issues when I bowled, so I gave it up. But I do miss it. In fact, at the net convention, there is a bowling alley across the street. So I think everyone that goes to net, we should have a bowling day. Hello, Sandy Fowler. Hello, Cindy. Did you get my message? And Nez is on. I know that Janet Roche, thank you, my brother. Love you. I know that Janet messaged or sent a picture of what to look for. I messaged you this morning and it didn't look like it went through, so I messaged you again this afternoon. Hi, Carol Manhart. Hello, Linda. 710 pickups are rare and amazing. Yes, they are, let me tell you. I almost peed my pants. I was so excited. Hello, Julie. Hello, Rhonda. Okay, great. Thank you, Cindy. Hello, Cassie. Alrighty, guys, it's 7:04. We're gonna do one more minute. Then I'm gonna do giveaways for our live last night. Got 3 amazing giveaways. I have more giveaways. Let's see if there's a thingy on here. I thought there was. Maybe there's not. Nope, there's not. Hi, Cindy. I used to bowl in my younger years, always loved it. Bowling's fun. There is I think it's Netflix or Hulu or something, there is a professional bowling, which I love to watch. I like watching the men's more than the ladies, but I also like watching the college. Anyway, there is a new, I don't know what it's called. I just know my husband and I watched it. We liked it. Hi, Chris, over on Facebook as well. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and do our giveaways. Again, bear with me on the screens. If it goes black, it's just because my platform, Switcher Studios, changed something and I can't figure it out. Because it says live there and preview here, but I have to hit the button twice to make it happen, which is insane. Never ever had that before. Didn't have it Sunday, but had it Monday. Or last night, excuse me. Didn't have it Sunday or Monday. Wait, what's today? Tuesday? Okay, so I had it last night, which was Monday, but I did not have it on Sunday. So, hi Monica. Hi Carol. From my cruise ship Oasis, I've been on that boat. It's amazing. Hi Deborah. Are you going to be at NET this year? I love that, Cindy. Your granddaughter received a scholarship for bowling. Love that. Love, love. Hi, Charlie. Okay, I hope you're feeling better, my friend. Alrighty, let's do our giveaways, okay? I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and go down to my desktop, which might be a little trick for a second. Let me move my keyboard out of the way, and we will try. There we go. Alrighty. Well, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Oh, wonderful, Deborah. I look forward to seeing you there. Okay. Hi, Donna Pultz. I'm just going to move these other ones over here. So, as you guys know, it's me, myself, and I. So what I did at 5 o'clock today was I went to my YouTube channel and Facebook on the video from last night, took all the names. Oh, I love that. Which class are you in, Deborah? Hi, Linda. So my journal class sold out in the first hour of registration at NET, which is amazing. Okay, I digress. Anywho's, so what I do is I put all the names on the wheel for everyone that liked, commented, and shared, and then I have Happy Mail. Now, the other thing that I could not find today is to enlarge or zoom in. I'm gonna try something I'm almost afraid to, because I'm afraid if I do, it might mess up my cameras. But let's go ahead and do the first. So the first one I have 3. Oh, and so let me back up. Remember last night when I showed you, you know, the very first drawing, I feel sometimes should be like, they're all around the same pricing, okay? But this is a brand new set of colored pencils, and it's about $60. The others are around $50. So I'm gonna do the third, and then the second, and then the first. All right? Pumpkin. Oh, I love the pumpkin. You're gonna love that. Who said? Okay, so again, there's 3 of the 6x6 stencils, and I'm gonna move the names so I can show you. So there's Pebbles, which is cool, and then a diamond stencil. And then this one, which is, thanks to Chris Avola, who let me know, who quilts and sews, amazing, this double wedding ring stencil. And then there's 3, and it's not used, it's just that's from the laser. Okay, so this is the heart cluster, and the leaf background stencil, and the cosmic burst, and my favorite Dynasty stencil brushes, a 1/2 inch and a 3/8. And then this nice dense little brush that Linda Dristas in my membership group hooked me on. Okay, so the name that came up on the wheel for that is Sandy Fowler. So, Sandy, message me your mailing address and I will get these shipped to you this week. Speaking of shipping, my first orders went out today. I have been cutting and packaging, and if you have not received your shipping invoice, which I don't include shipping at checkout, I do shipping separate, because I don't want to overcharge you for shipping. All right. So if you've not gotten your shipping invoice, I have not mailed yours yet, but I will get it out in the next day or two. Those blender brushes are sweet. Yes, aren't they? Okay, so this one, Tracy Morrow and I did this mixed media butterfly set. It's going to come with the extra little embellishments for the other side if you want to make it double-sided. It does, oh, well, there's the name. It does come with mine and Tracy's directions. It's a very, very thick packet with step-by-step instructions, step-by-step pictures, etc., and collage paper that goes on the butterflies, all right? Which means you might even need a little matte medium. So I threw that in as well. And Gloria, is it Hakade? Hakade? Haikade? I lived in Japan for 6 years, so the way I would pronounce that is Haikade. Anyway, just let me know your mailing address. You can message it to me on Messenger. You can go to my website and hit that contact button, and I will get that sent out to you. And the last one was for the Chroma Flow Derwent 48 pencils. And let me just see if that's, yep, still in their plastic and everything. So, the name that popped up on the wheel, Janet Roche. Janet Roche. So, I will send those to you this week. Dynasty stencil brushes I love, are absolutely the best. Okay, so don't forget to like, comment, share, because again, I will have 3 incredible giveaways tomorrow night. Tomorrow is my last day. Let me just see if I have it here. Nope, I gotta go there. So tomorrow evening at midnight, so would that be 12:01 would be Thursday morning, or is 12 Thursday morning? Regardless, the doors close to my membership group tomorrow night at midnight. We've had several people join. So grateful that you guys have, and look forward to painting and creating with you guys. Don't forget, you can go to my website, find out more information. You can always change from monthly to yearly. You can cancel at any time. It's $295 for the year, $34 for the month. I have not increased my prices since I started this in 2020. And so I'm gonna move that there. Nope, I need that there. So that you guys can see my hands. Alrighty, guys. Hi, Pam. Hi, Pam. Again, if you see a black screen, it's just because this silly little thing is, I don't know. I don't know what it's doing. Hi, Dawn. Alrighty, so let's back out. Let me back out of my chair because I don't usually sit when I paint. I like to stand. Alrighty. So, this is what we did last night. That was on that packing paper, craft paper, and I added a couple little things. I did a little white gel pen around it, highlighted it with the Posca pen. Actually, that's not a gel pen, it's a Posca pen. Then I added 2 more bees. I just felt like it needed it. So, loved how that turned out. And you might be able to see on the flower some of that white metallic luster and the top petals. Oh, love, love, love. Okay, but I wanted to share with you too, we have a lesson tonight, and thanks to my friend Ronnie, we're painting a peach. But I wanted to show you a couple things. This was our latest Zoom class. So every quarter, I do a free Zoom class with my membership group. So I either design something new, or we paint something that I've done before that they want to paint. I always leave it up to them to kind of give me ideas. So we've done fabric, we haven't done glass yet, but we've done shoes, we've done so many different things. This was a walk in the park, a stroll in the park, I think. And we did this last quarter, and then we have one this coming quarter, and we're trying all to decide what we're gonna paint. So, And that way everyone can see each other, because otherwise they just see me. It is the membership group lessons are taught live in my membership group. Majority of them are on Thursdays. These Zooms are usually on Saturdays. But one thing I wanted to share with you and show you, I've not seen this. In fact, I talked to the guys, my friends over at Grumbacher, about creating journals that maybe did a double or a triple fold out. So I believe this page is on my YouTube channel that you can see, but I wanted to show you some of my fold out pages because I love them. Let's see if I have them marked. I have an original. This was the one I did on with my group because I came in and filled things in, but happiness begins with gratitude. Don't you believe that? I am so incredibly grateful. Just for my tribe, for my membership group, for you guys joining in, commenting, liking, sharing, and giving me a platform. And I don't know, just I love teaching and I love sharing. So I just am grateful that you guys are here. Okay. And then this was, I think, the first layout that I might have done. It might have been that tropical one. I don't know, but it's probably my favorite fold out. And that was the peacock. So I do have a video on my YouTube channel that shows you how to do the fold out. And this just has beautiful deco art metallics. But again, when I started in 2020, it was, we don't have a lot of surfaces or a lot of places to shop. So find a journal and we're going to create in the journal. But could you not see that like on a really nice sized canvas? Everything translates from here to there. Again, when I'm playing and just wondering how things are going to go, I'll put it in my journal to see if I like it. And if I don't, then I don't take it as a lesson or I don't put it into a design. Okay, let's close that one. And we're going to fold it. I love this one too. I did something similar at OKC, kind of an adaptation of it. But this one was thankful, grateful, and blessed. And this little guy just makes me smile with his little bat. So it folds up. And you can paint the other side, which many of the ladies did. I don't think I have any more in that book. I don't. Okay. This is kind of a fold-out page, if you will. So it is, oh, thank you, Chris. She put the link. So sad I missed the last Zoom. Thank you, Judy. Well, you know, you've got that link, so you can go and watch it anytime. Okay. So this one, our prompt, we do prompts every month, and this one was owl, but I didn't want to just paint an owl. So I painted an owl, okay? But then I thought, how fun would it be to actually have him peeking out a little dimensional? And so we actually took a lighter and burned the edge. You know how you singe the paper? And so I love that one. Okay. In fact, Charlie, my friend in North Carolina, one of my besties, did something similar with some collage paper, and it was just incredible. I don't think I have another one in here. No, but I love this lesson. Again, our prompt was orchids. Our prompt was blueberries. Our prompt was, I think it was macaroon. No, wait, what was it? It might have been cupcake. I honestly don't remember. It might have been macaroon, though, but aren't macaroons so good? I love them. Okay, so let's move that one out of the way. Sorry, had to drop it. Okay, another thing. So I shared with you that last week with my group, the end of May, we did a metallic-looking dog. That is just white, black, Payne's gray, and slate gray, and a Posca pen, black and white, okay? But another thing, you've seen those breakout canvases where people cut the canvas and stuff. Well, I wanted to do one, but it was actually just flat. So we broke it out. We broke our pumpkin out, but it's still just on one page to make it look dimensional, okay? Let me see if I have a thing in here. Oh, there's my other owl. Like this. Again, do it on a canvas, 8 by 10, 9 by 12. Little rose mauling. My mother-in-law, bless her heart. She passed a few years ago and during the pandemic, and but she's got rose mauling in many places in her home because she was Norwegian. Okay, now let's get to what we're going to do tonight, because I've been on this stained glass kick for a while. I will be doing these soon on a Sundays in the studio. It's with the Deco Art stained glass paints. Love them. Was on that before my dad passed in March, so we will get back to that. But I wanted to show you kind of where the stained glass started. Do I have it in here? So love that too. Okay, so this was the first one, and I think this was at least 3 years ago. And if you've not seen the stained glass things that are everywhere just about, I usually don't like to talk about my abilities or my strengths, if you will, I guess. But one of them has always been to pick up on trends before they become a trend. I just visually see things, and so I saw something, I guess, because it inspired this piece, which I loved. That was the first stained glass piece. And then it was 2 years ago, I think, we did the Nutcracker, again, to make it look like stained glass, but just in your journal. What is this one? Oh, this is another fold out I forgot to share with you. Love, love, love this fold out. So Lighthouse was our prompt, and I just love the sparkle on the water and that's painted on both sides. Okay, now what I have planned for us tonight is, again, my friend Ronnie, I'm like, give me some prompts. What should I paint? And she was like, do a peach. So I drew up this morning before my doctor's appointment, drew up a peach stained glass design, and we're going to paint that. Okay, but I want to show you first. I also need to correct the lines on the PDF that I'm going to have on my website tomorrow. Okay, so we want to take this out, and I'm just pinching these little rings to get that out. But I wanted to give you a little taste of what I would do in my group. So in my journal, I come up with a design. I know I've winged it the last couple of days. Today I had a little bit of a plan of what I was going to paint. So what I will have on my website tomorrow under the free downloads printables is this plus all the colors. And I haven't painted it yet, so I don't know the colors, but I will get that online tomorrow. And you can download it. The design's there, the colors that I used are there, and you can substitute them with whatever acrylic you use. All right, but I wanted to show you how, let's pick that back up, and hopefully I do right there, because I need another page. I think I mentioned last night a trick that actually one of my favorite people and in my membership group, she joined early when I first launched it, Linda Dristas, and she shared this with us, and it was a game changer. So this is a light box that my admin and sweet dear friend Chris Abolas sent to me. I already had one, but she sent me this one because it's better. And so, oh yes, the stained glass magnolia. I didn't bring that one over. So if you have a light box, you can set your line drawing down, tape it in place, and you can see through the page. Okay, so all I have to do is come in and transfer it, and I'll show you what I transfer it with. Usually a ultra fine tip Sharpie marker, because it won't bleed when I paint over it. Okay, so I lay down my pattern and I do my design. And then once I get the design on, I go over it with a layer of gesso that's been watered down, okay? And my preferred gesso, my go-to gesso is the DecoArt Media. So let's move that out of the way so I don't break it. And we will get started. So again, I will lift it up often, sorry, because my zoom in is lost. Switcher Studios did something with it. If you use Switcher Studios as a platform, let me know. Oh, I know, Loretta, me as well. I do wish it was in person. Thank you, guys. All right, so I just grabbed colors that I knew are gonna go like with the peach leaves, things like that. So, but what you can see, do you see that line right there? So I wasn't happy with the way I drew this out. I had it separated, but it was a little harsh. It just didn't flow. So I came back in and I took my gesso and I went over those two lines and I drew a line, but I wanted you to see what it will look like when it's not washed with gesso. All right, you're gonna have that pen line. But at the same time, I'm gonna come back with the pen and make it dark because it's gonna be my leading for my design. So, yeah, I'm almost afraid to touch that. I was gonna zoom in on my camera above me, but I'm afraid if I touch it, I'm gonna lose us. So I will just lift it up. So let's get out some colors. I know that we are going to use orange, and I grabbed some jack-o'-lantern orange. And we will get out some, let's see, I grabbed yellow. We'll grab some primary yellow. Let's shake that up because I don't think I've used that in forever. There we go. And we will also get out some titanium white. Okay. And let's get out some, do I have here? I have some quinacridone magenta, which I think would look really pretty on that peach, and tying it in with those peach blossoms. Do yourself a favor on any bottle of paint you have, take those off because your cap does not securely go in place if you've got all that paint. And so basically your paint will dry out. Okay, we're gonna start blocking in some areas. I think in the background, I'm going to do, I'm thinking some peachy colors here. In the background, I think I'm going to do, let's do crystal blue. And we want a little darker color, maybe a little sea breeze. And then we'll just start kind of blocking this in. So I will get my 3/8 angle, get it wet. I'm gonna grab a paper towel. And then I'm going to take yellow. My brush is wet. I have an angle brush, but there's paint on the whole thing, okay? So I'm going to go over the whole entire peach with that primary yellow. Right onto that stem, Sandy. But remember, because we gessoed it, I can just come back with my clean brush and remove it. But again, this is more of a wash. All right, we're gonna rinse that out. And then I think I will get some, I'm gonna leave the flowers for now. You know what? Let's get out some greens. Do I want to get out greens now or do I want to wait? I think I want to wait. Let's dry it. So I don't have too many colors out because my studio lights are so hot, it's going to dry out. Hello, Janet. I don't, Donna. I did use my Ladybug when I first started. So the very first Zoom that I did with Chris Hoy, I used it. But on my lives, I just don't feel like the crispness of, you know, oh, and the other thing is switching back and forth. So I'd have to switch with my computer camera, which, no. What I use, Switcher Studios, allows my iPad Pro and my phone to connect to each other. And I can switch back and forth between cameras. Okay, now let's come in with some of the Jack-o'-lantern orange. And this time I am only going to pick it up on the toe of the brush. Again, angle brush has a toe and a heel. Nice chisel edge, 2 sides, double crimped ferrule. It is my go-to. Love, love, love this line of Dynasty brushes. So I'm going to do that, swipe it across my paper towel. And we're just going to start building up this color on our peach. So I'd paint it just like I would if I were painting a peach on a canvas. And then we will block in some colors, again, to make it look more stained glass. Okay, so we're gonna come up that little divot. So if you don't know, I live in Georgia and love peaches, but I did not know that more peaches are grown and harvested in California than in the state of Georgia. Now, Georgia's known for their peanuts. We are the #1 peanut state. I could say a lot about that, but I'm not, so. Okay, so I just want to do a little bit of shading. Add a little bit more of the peachy color. Hi, Vishali. All right. A little bit darker orange right there. I love, love, love Sandy's group and Sandy. Joining was the best thing I ever could have done for myself. Sandy wears her heart on her sleeve. She openly shares so much talent and gives so much of herself to us. She has provided hundreds of lessons and stunning designs. I have learned so many new techniques in the last 5 years. Her teaching style is so relaxed and nurturing. There is no end to the creativity to be had in the group. Regardless of your current ability, there is something for you and someone to help you with questions. You don't have to share, but we love seeing what you're working on. Don't hesitate joining if you have not already done so. You won't regret it. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay. Hi, Anne. Okay, so we will get out that 3/8 angle still. I'm going to get it wet, and this time I'm going to pick up the orange, but I don't care if it gets everywhere. Okay, and I'm going to just pull it down, kind of flick it. Over that color there. Let's just darken that a little bit. And I'm just going to pull it down. And what you might get are, see those striations of color that are going through the peach? I could even make it happen if I wanted to on the chisel edge. But we're just going to build up this color. Now I will put some right there in the little divot. I love peaches too. Aw, thank you, Janet. Thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, Pat. Your peaches in Utah froze. That's crazy. Okay, I want to make a little bit darker orange, but I don't want to use another darker orange. So I'm just going to pick up jack-o'-lantern and a touch of quinacridone magenta. Okay, so jack-o'-lantern orange, touch of quinacridone magenta, and I'm going to come in and we're going to start adding some really pretty color to our peach. Remember, this is supposed to mimic the look of stained glass. So there are things that I won't do to it that I normally would if I were painting it as a design on a canvas or on something else, because it's, or even in my journal if I was doing a peach, because it's different. Okay, so I think I made that line, and I should have just made one. So we're just gonna do that. So jack-o'-lantern, a little bit of quinacridone magenta. If you get too much of one color, just wipe off your brush, pick up more of the color you need, which I need orange. Swipe it across your paper towel. Ooh, my dear grandfather, Carl, he said he'll never be old enough for us to call him Granddad. So we always called him Carl. He passed away in, oh, I don't know, 90s, late 90s. And he would always peel peaches and then put sugar on them. Oh, they were amazing. Okay, so we're just pulling that down, getting some of that peachy color. Use your finger to spread it out if you need to. I do like to eat a peach peeled though, the fuzzy furry bit. Ooh, it's kind of like nails on a chalkboard for me. Don't like. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with that same color, jack-o'-lantern and a touch of quinacridone magenta, and I want to get it a little more orange. And I don't care if it migrates over the whole brush. I have a little drop of water right there I'm going to pick up. Swipe it across my paper towel. And we are going to just pull down that color. Pick up some more, swipe it across the paper towel, and I just do this out of habit, but I love the way it takes off that excess paint. Plus, I usually put it on and wipe it off with my finger anyway, so. But doesn't that quinacridone magenta just, oh, it just hits perfectly with that orange. Get some in there. All right, we don't want to forget this little area back here. Now I will make it darker with a little bit of quinacridone gold. If you don't have this color, it's very difficult to make. However, red spice is a pretty good, it's not exactly, it's hard to make this color, but red spice and a little saffron yellow. So I'm going to pick up orange, jack-o'-lantern orange with a little touch of that quinacridone gold. I sell the media paints because I love them and I use them a lot. We just want to make this one a little darker. On that side. So see how rich and deep it made that. And then I'm going to take some, I just wiped my brush off, primary yellow and some titanium white. Don't care if it gets on the whole brush. Swipe it across my paper towel. And I'm going to swipe that right over. So when I do the line drawing, when I do the PDF and put that on my website, I am going to take away that second line. I don't like it. I just want one. So get a little yellow in that area, and maybe a little in that area. Okay, so we've been pulling from the top down. Now we want to pull from the bottom up. So I'm just going to flip that. Again, pick up some of the jack-o'-lantern orange, quinacridone magenta, work that in, swipe it across my paper towel. I'm going to pull up from the bottom. And then we'll come up under here. Again, just to get a little striation, little lines. All right, we're gonna leave that for now, okay? And I will, didn't think anyone ate the fuzzy peel. Oh no, I know a lot of people that do. And I like nectarines too, yes. Anyone that paints with Sandy must have paint on their fingers. No worries, no apology, Carol, glad you're here. I love paint on my fingers because it tells me that I painted today. I was creative today. And even if it was a bad painting day, I still did something creative, okay? So I'm gonna take that 3/8 angle, pick up a little bit of quinacridone magenta, work that in on the toe of the brush only, swipe it across my paper towel, and we are going to come right down into these little peach blossoms. And put just a little bit. So I'm just going down the edge, and that's way too dark. So not only fingers, palms, and and so I'm just going to slide that up. Let me get a paper towel because I don't want it that dark. Although I can always come in with a wash of white to tone it down. And I'm just going to zigzag that brush so you get a little bit, again, a little movement, maybe a little veining. Like that. Okay, and I do like that dark actually. So I will come back and add that later on some of them. So I'm doing like a little C or a little U. So I come down and then I'm coming up on that chisel edge just to make those vein lines. That's way too dark, so I'm going to come in with a little bit of water and soften that. So the toe has the color on it. It is down where I'm laying the color. And then again, just that little zigzag motion, which will bring some of that color up. Which means we don't have a lot to do on the edges. Okay. I love peach cobbler. Makes me want to grab a bowl of cereal. You go for it, Carol. I love breakfast for dinner. Okay, we also have a little bud over here, so we're gonna put, that's green there, Sandy, which is okay. All right, now let's get out some asphaltum. And a little bit of oyster beige. And again, remember, I will have a PDF loaded on my website tomorrow so that you can see which colors I used. So I loaded up a little asphaltum, and I'm just going to bring that right down these little branches. Just a little. I just like the control of a 3/8 angle. I honestly feel like I could paint anything with it. You can make it into a liner. You can make it into a flat. And it really does just transform after you've done everything and then come back with the pen to darken it up. It just, I just love it. All right, I think I have one for this flower here, which is there. I don't have one there. Okay. Let me just see. All right. Let's get some greens. So I'm going to get out some avocado toast. Some of my favorite dark green plantation pine, although it's not dark enough, so I usually mix Payne's Gray with it, the media Payne's Gray. And we want to get out a brighter green, so let's do Margarita. So I think that's good. We don't need to go crazy, although I do want a little more muted one. Let's see what I have here that I grabbed. That's Lush. Did I grab, let me see if I grabbed Laurel, which is such a beautiful color. It's kind of a dusty green. So we will get that one out. Oops, and it needs to be shook. Now, if that happens to you, you can scoop it back up with a clean brush and put it back in your paint, all right? But the other thing is you can use it as a gel medium. So it will just help extend, you know, floating, everything. So don't wipe that off when that happens. Either put it back in the jar with a clean brush or palette knife, or use it as like a gel medium, okay? Now, I will come in with a smaller brush, probably this, let's just use a number 8. Okay. So I'm going to pick up the plantation pine, and I'm just gonna pop it in a few places. And the same idea of like where to put colors and stuff. So if my light is coming from here, let's say 11 o'clock, my dark would be there, right? So, but then you also have reflective light. So that's another reason why I don't ever use always. It's always this way. You have to do it this way. No, you don't. But just to give you an idea of why I'm laying this color here. We're just gonna fill it in. Maybe a little sliver there. You could always add a little Payne's Gray and make it darker. I am gonna do that one there. Again, you have to remind yourself that you're making it look like a stained glass design. then I'm just going to rinse that out. Oops. Tap it across my paper towel. Pick up some avocado. What was that I used? Avocado toast, which I love avocado and I love toast, but I have to admit I've never had avocado toast. So, and we just want to paint in a few little spots on that brighter side. Just fill in those. You can go right over the black lines within the design that you're on. I don't want to go outside of the line, but within that, if I go over those black lines, it's okay, because at the very end, they'll be put back on. Again, this is avocado toast, number 8 shader. And there's not a line there, but I'm going to put a line there. Okay, I'm loving those colors. Let's rinse that out. Hi, Lisa. All righty. We will pick up some of the margarita. And put that on that lighter side. But I will come back and layer some other colors on it just to give it so it doesn't look like a zebra leaf, if you will. And a little down there. And that one, oh, that goes over that. Okay. I'm a little confused there for a second. All right, and I think because that one's over on that edge, I will put a little bit of the lighter green there. With that color in there, I'm going to pick up some of that laurel. Okay, so it's got a little margarita in my brush and a little bit of floral. And we're just going to put that right on that side. A little bit there. And that side and there. Try not to get into the peach. Oops, picked up a little bit of magenta, and that is quite all right because that looks good. Oh no, it was quinacridone gold. Even better. All right, and then one more. Okay, let's rinse that out really well. So my brush is slightly wet. I'm going to pick up some of the avocado toast, but I want water, a little bit of water. So it's gonna be more of a wash. Tap it across my paper towel, and I will just skim it right over that margarita. Okay, so that's just gonna help neutralize the color just a little bit. Again, water in my brush, just going right over. Remember, we have avocado on the other sections, so just doing that same color as a wash next to it. It'll give you a totally different green. It's going to be brighter because you've got that gorgeous margarita underneath. Oop, forgot one right there. Thank you, Deb. Love you too, my friend. Thank you, Sandy. Yes, I just saw that. It's like, oops. Oops, oops, oops. That was always my dear sweet friend. Sue Potts would always, you missed a spot. Or she'd point out a face or something and, you know, that she could see it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so let's leave those alone for right now. I'm going to come in with that number 8 flat and pick up that crystal blue. And again, I've got water in my brush. I'm just going to pull that out to the side. And we are going to paint in some of this background color. But we're going to switch it up. And I might even go ahead and get out a little bit. Oh, I do. I have white. So I'll just mix white every now and then. I'm just kind of jumping around. Maybe a little there. Remember, these are colored pieces of glass. And then I'm going to pick up some white. So I've got that crystal blue on my brush. I'm going to pick up some white, work that in, pick up just a touch more water. It's just going to change the color. Trying to figure out where I want to put it. I do have a piece of glass right there. Oh, I need a line right there. So we're going to put one right there. So that that glass piece isn't too big. Okay, a little white. Let me just kind of skip around. I think we'll add that lighter one here. Okay, dirty brush. I'm going to pick up that sea glass. Okay, little water. Still have that in it and the white. Tap it across my paper towel. I'm going to come up here and I want to see if there's any kind of a difference in the blue. If not, I'm going to switch. That's a little more greeny blue. That'll work. Will it work? Let me just see something real quick. I'm going to add a little bit of that oyster beige. Just because I'm curious. Ooh, I like that. So a little oyster beige and a little bit of sea glass. Oh yeah, that's pretty. So I'm just going to hold that up. Just kind of, I don't know, just changed it up a bit. If you ever want to get better at mixing colors, when you're done painting, take your palette, mix things. Like, ooh, I wonder what this brown and this blue will look like, or this orange and, quinacridone magenta. The only way you'll know is if you just give it a try. And that's how I really got better at mixing colors, painting stroke work, because I would paint stroke work after I finished with a project, or roses, whatever I wanted to get better at. So again, a little bit more water, and we're gonna put that, kind of running out of small spaces. So I think I want to put a space right there, and I'm just drawing a line. We'll go there. Okay, I'm gonna wipe that off. And I will pick up a little bit of, do I want to do that? No, I don't think I do. Let me think. Okay. I think I'm going to use a touch of primary blue. It's darker. I don't want to go dark just yet, but I will mix it with white just to get a different blue color, almost like a baby blue. So if you have baby blue, you could use that. Okay, a little water. And we will come right in here. Again, just give us a different blue color, because when we come in and shade this with probably primary blue on all of it, it's really gonna pop. Okay, touch more. And if it's not the same, it's quite all right. That's why I love brush mixing. You get a variation of color. It's not straight out of the bottle. However, I do like many colors that are just right out of the bottle. Okay, so we're gonna go there, and we'll go here. That's probably the hardest thing, is just knowing where to put it. So, best advice is just put it. A little bit more water, and that's that primary blue and white. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the crystal blue and a little bit more white, again, just to change the color of blue that I have there. I'm just picking up a little bit more, swipe it across my paper towel. So when I'm teaching in my membership group, again, let's pick up a little bit of that sea glass on that dirty brush. Again, which is in a private Facebook group. This is pretty much what I do. You know, they've gotten a PDF, they know prep if there's any prep before our lesson, and then I've already painted my piece when I teach them the majority of the time. I won't say always, but 99% of the time. Let's do a little bit right under there. And we'll go back to that. Try not to get into this wet paint because I'm being a little lazy and not picking up my heat tool. So those colors are very similar. So I'm gonna pick up, actually I'm gonna pick up a little laurel. Let's see what that does. Nope, graze it too much. See? So we'll pick up a little bit of the primary blue and sea glass. Oop, we don't want any orange in there. Orange is the color that would make it, the blue, very dull. We don't want to do that. Okay. There we go. Again, just a different shade of blue. We'll put that there. Got a little sliver here. Got a little sliver there. All right, we're getting there. Go back, I love that color mix right there. So we're gonna put that right over here. And here. For these smaller areas, you can get a liner brush or something. I'm just using the corner of that number 8. And since I gessoed my page with white, if I go outside the line, I want to come back with gesso, because if I use white paint, you're going to be able to see the difference, okay? So, but you can also base coat your page with just titanium white. All right, and I think up here we're going to do that big space with that pretty blue, again, which is primary blue, sea glass, and a little bit of white. If you're new here, let me know, and let me know where you're viewing from. Like I said, I am in the middle of the state of Georgia, smack dab in the middle of it. Okay, so I'm loving those colors. Ah, thanks, Shirley. I love them too. Painted by a Georgia peach, right? What, I missed some of that conversation. Let's see. The state of Georgia needs to buy that from you and use it in their marketing. It'd make a pretty stamp, wouldn't it? Alrighty, let me see. So I will come back with the crystal blue just because it's streaky and I really don't want it to be streaky. So wherever it's streaky, I'm gonna. Now the problem is when you've done this, you might go, I don't remember what color I used there. Like I just did that and it obviously was the lighter blue, like a baby blue. So just go over it. If you don't like it, add another color to it. It's paint at the end of the day, and I love what paint can do and transform and make something like that metallic dog I did look metallic, even though no metallic paint was used. Okay, so anything like this, just a little more opaque, and I'll show you how to make it look like glass so that it's not 100% opaque. Where did I put that? Stained glass was something I always wanted to do. Just never got into it, but again, it was something I thought, oh, I would love to do that, like everything, you know. I tend to get bored with the same thing, and I will say that's one thing I absolutely love. One year in my membership group, we did Flowers of the Month, which was great because it gave us a theme. Then one year it was the Old World Masters, which are some of my absolute favorite projects that we've done. Okay, I picked up a little sea glass, and last year and this year, I'm not sure if we did it the year before, we have done prompts. So those have really pushed me to paint and create things that I normally wouldn't, which I love. So in June, our prompts for my membership group are sea turtle, Someone reminds me in the comments. Hi, Kathleen. I honestly do not remember. Oh, tropical foliage. So like, you know, monstera leaves or hibiscus flowers with them. Don't know yet. Haven't designed it. And I can't remember the third one. Plus we have a Zoom class. So 3 classes live and then a Zoom class. What is that third one? Oh my goodness. Aw, thank you, Mom. I love when you watch me paint. Okay, so again, I'm just filling in on those that are a little too streaky. We'll add some texture to it with a little dry brushing. Okay. All right, I am going to come in. Oh, no, I need to go right up here to this one. And then come in with that primary blue and white to get more of that baby blue color. A little bit more white. I just did something I tell people not to do. Go to the side of your white, not in the middle of your white. Because now my white is more contaminated than it needs to be. Alrighty. And just remember where I mixed it. And then up here. Okay. Now I'm going to rinse that out. Let's get out some, would not be a sandy project without this, Payne's Gray. It's my go-to, absolute favorite color to make my plantation pine darker, to do cast shadows. It's just amazing. Okay, so we want to mix a little bit of plantation pine and a touch. So the chisel edge is just going to kiss the edge of that Payne's Gray. Those are very highly pigmented colors. That's why the price point is a little bit higher than on your regular, like Americana or whatever, because they don't have the solids and binders in it that regular acrylics do. It's a fluid acrylic, so highly, highly pigmented. And just to kind of give you guys some context with pricing during the pandemic, many of those pigments went up 400 and 800% in cost. So, but it is so worth it because it is such a fantastic line of paint. In fact, one of my favorites. We're gonna do that one there. And then we'll come in and that one, little bit of water if it starts to drag, but we don't want this to be real transparent. I want it to cover. A little S stroke there. Okay, we've got one more. Go right there. I see a little sliver right there that I'm going to do just with that blue. Okay, let's dry everything. Aww, thank you, Janet. You'll get to meet my mom. At the NET convention. Hi, Terry. So how do you determine which areas get their color light versus dark? So if I were painting this regularly, and again, if my light's coming from, let's say 11 o'clock, then I know that this side of my leaf would be a little bit lighter, right? And this side would be a little darker. Same here. Now, this one, even though it's dark, you might get a little reflective light here. My flower's hitting it, so I'm not gonna have one there. So basically, if I know where my sun is, if you will, then lighter, lighter, lighter. Okay, and then I would put the darker on the other side. So let's come in with that avocado toast. And we're, oops, nope. That avocado toast, we're gonna go over that again. Now, when I am teaching in my membership group, like I said, I will have already done this. So I know where the colors are gonna go, and it probably doesn't take as long, maybe an hour and a half to 2. I think our longest has been, you know, maybe just over 2 hours, but they're short lessons enough. I also do Tip Tuesdays, Technique Thursdays, and when I do those, oftentimes they'll be, if not 7 p.m. at night Eastern time, they'll be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Just depends on my schedule. Okay, so this is avocado. Put a little there. Then I'm just going to wipe it off, pick up some of that margarita. I'll lay that in. Another great product I'll share with you in a second is the neons. I don't know if we've used those, if we did that on Sunday or not. My days are just all mixed up. Okay. Thanks, Janet. Alrighty. Yes, I've been wanting, thank you, Kay. I've been wanting to paint a sea turtle for a while. And so I told my group, I was honest. Usually I do the prompts, I pull them out, and what comes out of the bucket comes out of the bucket. And that's what we paint. However, this time I just wrote sea turtle down. So, okay, let's pick up some of that quinacridone gold, and I'm just going to put it on a couple little places on my leaf to give it a little bit of that brownish look, if you will. Quinacridone gold. So, you know, again, when I was talking about zebra stripes, it's laurel, plantation pine, laurel, plantation pine. So I would pick somewhere to switch that up, and maybe it's there, okay? And maybe I have a little bit here. And I do want to get a little bit on that laurel there. Okay, I think we are done with that. Back to the stem real quick. So I'm going to come in with the asphaltum. We just basically based it in. And so I'm going to come in with that little bit stronger color. And you'll notice there's still some sections that are on those branches. We will change those areas with some either white or oyster beige. And we don't want to forget this one over here. Okay. Actually, let me get a little bit more on that one. Okay, so with that dirty brush, I'm just going to pick up some of the quinacridone gold, and I can still see my lines. So I'm just going to pop in a couple of areas that has this coloring. Dirty brush, pick up a little oyster beige, work it in, just a couple strokes, swipe it across your paper towel, and maybe I will come in here. So again, just to kind of give you an idea, like I wouldn't put it under the leaf because the shadow from the leaf would be darker, what's underneath it. So I'm kind of looking at places that, you know, could have a little bit of a highlight, like here. We're there. We're there. We're there. And then when we draw the lines, you can improvise too. It does not have to be exactly the way I drew it to begin with. Alrighty. So then I will leave that. I'm going to rinse this out. And I'm going to come in with, I think I'm going to come in with Jack-o'-lantern orange, very watery, very, very, very inky. Okay, tap it across my paper towel. And I think I want to bring that peach color into the border glass that is here. And I'm just skipping every one so I don't get my hand in it, because then I will add a little yellow to that color. Tap off the excess. And fill in, wait, what did I do? Do I have an extra one there? 1, 2. Oh, I left an extra, duh. Hello, Sandy. That's okay. I'm gonna show you how to take it off. Goober. Okay, so we know we need this one to be orange. Right, yes. Then I'm gonna add some of that yellow. So a little bit of that orange, a little bit of the yellow. Again, inky, inky. Tap it across my paper towel. We're going to make that one. Oh, I can't wait to outline this to show you guys just how awesome it all looks. And again, this is on a journal page, but this can be done on a canvas. It can be done on a wood canvas, a fabric canvas. It can be done on paper mache. Don't get hung up on the fact that it's on a journal page, because that's just a surface. I also like to stress, especially in my membership group, when we're doing things like this, like when we did the metallic dog. You might not ever want to paint a balloon metallic dog, but you might want to paint a metallic vase, or something in your design that looks metallic without using metallic paint. So the lesson is how to achieve it, instead of it just being, a balloon dog that looks metallic. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Now, I didn't do one around the edge, because in my mind when I drew it, I thought it would be really pretty to have like that leading and then just a border on the edges. So let's dry this. Thank you, Chris. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Carol Jashenko. Alrighty. So hopefully that is dry. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of deeper color on our flowers with that quinacridone magenta. And I just want to bring it right into that base area. And then we also have these little flips. So we're going to just do those along the bottom. A little sliver of that pink. Right along the bottom there. Darker in here. And I'm just doing a little zigzag again to get a little bit of that veining in our flower. And the separating is going to be with the black pen, so I don't really need to come in and do a lot of shading where petals and things meet, because again, the black pen's going to do that for me. Let's get a, oops, too dark. So I just rinse my brush and get a little bit of water there. And let's take that up there. There. And then into that center and up on the chisel edge. Chisel edge, tippy tip of those bristles. And when you're on the chisel edge, we don't want to put a lot of pressure. Just kind of sliding it back and forth. Alrighty. Let's rinse that out. While that is drying, I am going to come back with just the orange, jack-o'-lantern orange. I do want to make this just a touch more color. Not dark, just a little bit more orange. To pull those colors out of our peach. Oh, they're doing crop dusting in my backyard. Not my backyard, but the farm behind us. Okay. Hi, Janie. All right, so I am going to take that same, or nope, not going to do that yet. I'm getting ahead of myself because I have an idea and I need to finish it. All right, let's just get all this dry. Again, you can shrink the pattern. You can do the border along the top and the bottom. It will make sense when the dark lines are on. All right, let's go to my favorite Mezzaluna brush. So, I love the Mezzaluna brushes. It's a blend of like a soft and hard bristle. They're great for dry brushing. They make amazing clouds. So I'm just gonna roll this back since it's curling, I typically do. We need a dry paper towel, clean paper towel, and I'm using this brush dry. I'll pick up some white, work it in, swipe it across my paper towel. Hello, Joanne Hall. Thank you, my friend. All right, so we're just gonna dry brush in a couple of places on the peach. I know we want a little bit of brighter here. And we're gonna do, let's just do that. So when I'm doing it, I'm not doing lines, I'm doing small little circles. So like in here, I'll do some small little circles in the center of that glass and then just kind of work it around. Pick up some more, wipe it off. A great place to test that if you're sure or not, if you're not sure if you have enough of the paint off, is here. If it gets too much on the palm of your hand, you know you need to wipe more off. Okay, so in these little sections, I'm just going to do a little dry brushing. Again, that's going to help give us that glass look. And I start in the middle, and I'm just going to work my way out to soften the edges. Don't want any kind of harsh line. And we'll wipe that off. And I'm skipping around just as I do. I'm using the flat of it, but then I'm also going up on the corner. And again, just little small circular motions. Wipe it off, see if I've got enough off. It's easier to layer more dry brushing, just like it is when you stencil, than trying to put too much on at one time. You lose the softness, just kind of that airy, ethereal type look when you go right in with a whole bunch of paint. I have a 4 set of these. It's large, extra large, large, medium, and small. I will say the medium and small are pretty much what I use the most because, especially working in my journal, the medium and small are perfect sizes for that. But I also wear them out quicker. Small little circular motions. Okay, let me just give it a looky-loo real quick and see if there's anything I need to change. No, I think we're good. Okay, so a little more white. So load that up. And I'm going to come right in the center of these and just give them a little bit of a little circular motions. And if you want to lighten something and you're not exactly sure how you want to do it, a great tip is just to do a little dry brushing with a lighter color. So like a warm white, a titanium white, and then come back in and do a wash of the base color. So I will come in and do a little wash on some of these. Again, what that will do is it changes the colors where I have the dry brush, but it leaves the color that wasn't touched with the dry brush. So just, again, gives you a really nice variation. Okay, I can also use this brush to do things like that. Get a little bit of texture. So I'm going to pull it. Okay, I'm thinking we're going to be done with that. I need to come in with a smaller brush, like a small flat, and thank you, Julie. Let's get a little bit of avocado toast first. I just dipped into that stuff that came out of the paint that's clear, and let's get some on our little calyx here for our bud. And then I'll pick up a little bit of plantation pine on that dirty brush, and I'm just going to slightly go over it. All right. I'm thinking we're pretty close to being done. However, orange, quinacridone magenta, jack-o'-lantern orange, quinacridone magenta. I do want to give a nice little shadow to my peach there. And then we'll pull it up from the bottom, use your finger. Okay, let's dry everything. I know that we have the little stamens in the center, and every time I do dots, like with, dimensional dots, I get my hand into them. I don't know about y'all, but so we are going to do those probably last. Oh my goodness, right, Janet? I was too. Jealous that Deb got to meet and hug Patrick. Okay. Again, I'm just gonna work that back on itself. Okay, just a few little extra steps and then we will be done. I don't think I'm gonna dry brush over that, but I will come in with the quinacridone gold. And I will just do a little bit of shading on these. You could always come in just with full strength jack-o'-lantern, since that's what we painted them with. I'm gonna assembly line these. A little bit of moisture in our brush. Okay, and then on the yellow, I will just use the primary yellow. Full strength on its own, on the toe of the angle brush only. And we're gonna go down the top, the side, and the bottom. Then along the top. Oops. The side and the bottom. Okay. And then I might just take that excess. Oh yeah. Pick up a little white. A little yellow and white. I think I'm gonna pop in a little bit on this stem where we've got the lighter color. Alrighty, guys. Oh, you hugged them for all of us. Love it. Alrighty, I am gonna come in with the asphaltum and a touch of Payne's Gray, because I do want to, even though we're going to have a black line here, I still want to darken this branch. So asphaltum, Payne's Gray. And I would say probably around noon Eastern time tomorrow, I'll have the PDF up for you guys to download for free, this line drawing and the colors I used, which I'll have to go back and watch because I have too many colors here to decipher which ones I used. And then we'll go up this. Okay. One last finishing touch, and then we're going to go to outlining. I absolutely love this color, Dari Light Yellow. Like I told you all the other day, it sounds much better when you say it with a southern accent, Dari Light Yellow. It is gorgeous. It is very similar, but better than saffron. And a little goes a long way. In fact, I have enough for everybody online watching right now, okay? I'm going to pick up a little bit of that, highly pigmented, and swipe it across my paper towel. And I love the way it looks with that quinacridone magenta. It just gives the flower a little kiss of the sun, if you will. I want to keep the white, but I just want to add a tiny little kiss of sunlight to those. Do you see how that just, oh, I love it. Okay, so I can put some there, even on the edge. Very, very, very little. In fact, where did I mix it? Right there. I can take, again, I have water in my brush, so it's very, very thin. I can come in and add some of that brighter yellow to that peach, to my leaves, if I wanted to add a little bit of brightness to that. Here and there, but not everywhere. Okay, just give it a little kick of color. And I said that was the last thing, but that's not, because the neons. I know I shared that. The neons, oh, they're game changers, in my opinion. This one's neon thermal. The paints I carry on my website are the paints that I absolutely love the most and use the most. That's why I carry them, so that you guys can get them. So I'm going to take that number, what is this? Number 2 flat. It's wet. I'm going to pick up some of the thermal green neon. A little bit more water, tap it across my paper towel, and we are going to amp up some of these colors. Okay, you can use it over the dark, and you're just going to amp up the color, but on the light, oh, just so pretty. I wouldn't do it everywhere, okay, but it's going to look different on the laurel than it does on the margarita. So we just want to put this in a few places on each leaf. Okay, not everywhere. Here and there. Get a little bit more out. So I decided on a grandma's name. I think I shared it on my Sundays in the studio with me. If not, I'm going to be a grandma, first-time grandma in August. And my youngest son has always called my husband Poppy growing up. So my older sister had a really good suggestion, and we're going to be Lolly and Poppy. So I love that. And I love this. Oh my gosh, it's turning out so much better than I had anticipated. Aw, thank you, Carol. Aw, best friends since 7th grade. I love that. Hi, Laura. Did you make it to your destination? All right, let's just dry everything. Again, don't forget to like, comment, share, be entered into the drawing for those giveaways. I will announce those tomorrow night on our last live before the doors to my membership group close. So if you're on the fence, message me, ask me any questions. You can ask them in the comments here because so many of my members are here. All right, let's come in with our pen. So I like to use a T-square to keep everything straight, okay? So a T-square, and I will come in with a thicker pen. You can use the this one for the finer detail lines. My mom is Nana, so I won't be a Nana, but I will be a Lolly. Okay, so this Deli Mate, you can get these on Amazon, guys, and they're like an Identipen. I've not used them on fabric, but they do have the different ends. And I like when I want to make a bolder line, I will use this. You can also use the Posca pen. However, sometimes when using it with a ruler, it will smear. So you just got to be careful. Because again, it's paint. So, like that. And I don't like to do anything on the tabs, so I will come over here and get that from there, which is going to be awkward, but we'll manage. Just want to be able to see where you're going. Make sure it's straight. All right, and then from here, I'm just going to go right to here. We will flip that over. Go from there. Okay. And then we will go make sure they line up. And do our lines there and there. Now this pen can also move. I mean, it's wet, so I try not to lift my ruler. I try and lift it straight up instead of swiping it to the side. That's why I'm not dragging it, because you can smear and swipe this marker. Here and there. Let's see if that's my line. All right, so that's the only thing I need the ruler for. But running late, I know, Connie, right? Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm Nana Puddin'. I love that, Nanette. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we're going to come in and we're just going to start outlining some things. And I can decide if I want to use the finer tip. However, I do like that bolder because it looks more like lead. All right, so we're going to go to there. I'm just going to try and keep my hands out of it. I'm just outlining things now, not doing any more of the detail. And veining, we'll come back and do that. Okay. I mean, look at that already, right, guys? And then this one that goes under the peach. And then let's just go ahead and take care of that stem. And I know I have a little bit of orange there. I can always come in with a little white, dry brush over it, and then put the yellow back if I want to. Always a way to fix things. Like there, making my line too wide. And we'll go there and there. And then I'm just going to lighten up on my pressure so I can outline that. And then let's come right back up to this leaf. I'm going to go right up that center vein. Remember, we want it to look like it's just shards, different color glass shards. And we'll go from there to, I can't see where I'm going. You always want to be able to see where you're going when you're using a marker, or a brush for that matter. This one has a little blue on it, which we're going to leave. I do find it easier to slide up the center vein and then out. We'll slide down. That keeps me from just doing a straight line across. Okay, so look how that's starting to look like stained glass, right? Oh, I do have a cork back ruler, right here, which I love, but I don't have a T-square cork back ruler. So I'll have to look and see if they even make those, because yes, I do love that cork back ruler. All right, I think we've got the leaves done. Let's just go ahead and take care of our peach. And then remember I said I'm on the line drawing I did, I'm going to, do I want to get rid of one of those, or no, we'll do them both. This is what I was talking about when you can't see where you're going. You might go somewhere else, and that's okay. I'm gonna leave it. Remember, it's supposed to look like stained glass. I want this to look like it's coming from the center, so I'm just gonna add that little black line there. Let's come up here, and I'm going to just lightly, very little pressure on my pen. Now I know we've got those little stamens in the center. Remember, I'm gonna do those last because I will get my hand into them and make an absolute mess. And just do a little line there. And then down here. Oh, my hair's in the camera. So that thicker end, again, to me, just looks more like the stained glass leading than a thin line. All right. Now, the stamens, I'm going to do black lines as if they're leaded lines. Okay. And then here we've got a couple little accent lines there. Give that center a little bit of depth, like you could stick your finger down into it. Okay. And then I will go over the dots. I'm not going to right now. I kind of want to do a little thing right there. Yes. Okay. So on our stems, remember we just have several colors here, and I'm just going to improvise and put in these little lines, again, to make it look like it's several different pieces of glass, making that stem and branches different than how I originally drew it, but loving that. And then all of our little sections. Again, you want to be able to see where you're going. Doggone it. I have to put some white there. Fix that. It is one reason I like to start on the line and go instead of go to the line, because I do that. Okay, I got all the background in. All right, so for my dots, I will outline them with a finer tip. Okay, so I'm just going to do a few so that you can see. And even though we put those lines on and there's going to be a line going right down into the middle of that circle, it will be okay because when we put the dot on, you're not going to see that line going through it. All right, and then let's get a stylus, maybe, if I have one over here. If not, handle of a paintbrush works great too. I only have 1,000 styluses that are somewhere. So let's, oh, right there. The one I used last night, I think. All right, so we're gonna pick up that Diary Light Yellow. And if you're right-handed, you want your paint on your right-hand side so that you don't have to do arm aerobics. All right, and I'm just gonna come in. You can outline them first, you can outline them later after they're dry. But it's just going to finish those flowers off. It's gonna help tie in a little bit of that yellow that we put on, little sun-kissed look on those petals. Going to tie into the yellow border, the yellow on our peach. And I have to admit, I'm pretty pleased with this one. So again, guys, I greatly appreciate you joining me. I know it's not in everyone's time or budget or whatever, but check out my membership group on my website. It's hard to beat 300 archived lessons and 3 to 4 times a month new lessons for the amount of money that my membership is. So, alrighty, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. You can put a couple of those tiny sticker felt pads on the back of your clear sheet. Oh, that would work. That's a great idea, Janet. Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for checking. Judy, you're Nana also? Yeah, my mom is Nana. My daddy was Pop Pop. So, alrighty, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I think I might turn this one into a sticker. I don't know. We'll see. But let me see if I can push the right button and see if it goes there. Okay. So again, there's some information about my membership group. 300 plus lessons recorded, available. You get a PDF that will give you the link exactly to where they are. We paint live in my membership group 3 to 4 times a month. We have a Zoom class coming up in June. And don't forget to get those brushes out, get that paint out, do something creative. If you're waiting for some motivation, guess what? Action leads to motivation. Motivation doesn't lead to action. Action leads to motivation. And the more you paint, the more you'll paint. Okay? So I'm just going to come right back down here, finish off that page. I will have the PDF with a finished picture as well as a line drawing, a new line drawing, and the colors that I used. Okay? So thank you guys so much for being here. Let me see if I can switch over to myself. Oh, I agree. Yeah, a postage stamp would be pretty, right? So I knew wearing my hair up today would be great because I have sweated the last 2 nights in my studio like crazy, although it's not as warm as it usually is. So, alrighty guys, thanks so much for joining me. I might tweak a couple things, like highlight on the peach a little bit more. And if I do that tonight, because just like I do with my membership group, we meet 7 o'clock on the days we have lessons, and I'm usually tired by the time we start, but by the time I am done, I am so revved up and I just want to sit at my desk and paint. So again, that action leading to motivation to do it. So, alrighty guys, don't forget, I will have that up tomorrow. I'm going to leave that with you here. Have a wonderful evening. Same time tomorrow, same places, my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. And I'm not sure what we're doing, but I'm kind of itching to do a girl, one of my girls. And so we'll see. I'll let you guys know tomorrow when I know. All right, guys, thank you so, so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. Get those brushes out. Do something creative. Have a wonderful evening.